Anybody got any questions on anything else?
Governor, you said that question 4
We
is
should
written.
start with Jonathan, Michigan.
Yeah, Governor, I'm just wondering about your reaction to the election of Donald Trump. You had said you didn't support him. You've got to work with him now. He is another Republican. Are you hopeful?
Oh, of course I'm hopeful. I mean, elections are opportunities for people at the state or local or federal level, wherever they take place, to speak to the public about how they feel about it. And my view on this one is the election's over. I thought both Donald Trump's comments last night and Secretary Clinton's comments this morning reflected a desire on the part of the two major players in these whole conversations to speak to and to reach out for a unified process going forward. And of course I'm optimistic.
Governor, how are you going to work with them?
So what?
Mayor Walsh just told reporters that he is concerned that there might be some financial impact, negative financial impact on Boston, Massachusetts, for political as well as philosophical reasons. Do you share his concern?
I think it's way too soon to draw conclusions about any of that. I mean, the first thing the Trump administration in waiting is going to have to do is to put a team together. And I've said many times that I think in public life and in private life, people are policy. And we'll know a lot more about sort of the general direction of that administration as they start making announcements about people for key roles. And I think drawing any kind of conclusions at this point beyond the fact that Donald Trump won a close election, he and Hillary Clinton both spoke to the notion that it's important to work to unify a divided country. I think that's really where this starts, and I think anything else beyond that is pretty speculative at this point.
Just one follow-up. So you don't expect any kickback in the fact that neither Massachusetts nor you nor the mayor supported him for this election will come back?
I think, look, elections are contests, and I've said this before, but governing is about the work. And I fully expect that this administration and the Congress and the Senate are going to be about the work. And there are a lot of things that need work, and I think for all of us, I'm just looking forward to getting started with that.
What's going to be your mode of assuming that last night you were surprised by what happened. What do you think motivated so many people to the polls?
Well, turnout in a presidential year is always really high, and this year was no exception. And my recollection here is something like 40 million people voted in early voting around the country before Election Day, which was a pretty clear indicator that this was going to be a high turnout election. But I'm not that close to it, but my understanding is that the turnout in this election was pretty consistent with the turnout we've seen in other presidential elections, which means that somewhere around 70 or 80% of the people around the country who are eligible to vote did so.
Who will you be talking to in the incoming Trump administration? Who's going to be your sort of go-to person within Trump's?
I have no idea at this point who a go-to person would be. I did reach out to Governor Christie, who I've obviously known for a long time. He just called me to congratulate him, and I would expect at some point I'll probably hear back.
Last question.
I want to put a finer point on something that Janet asked. Donald Trump has said repeatedly that he likes to get even. In one of his books he wrote, "When someone crosses you, my advice is get even." That is not typical advice, but it's real-life advice. If you do not get even, you are just a schmuck. You were one of the first Republicans to say you weren't going to vote for him. I think the second statewide elected official to say you weren't going to vote for him. Are you worried about retribution from the Trump administration?
I think the message I heard last night, over and over and over again, was the election's over, we're moving on, it's time to unify the country, come together, improve the economy, make the country great. And I think that was exactly the right message. And Senator Clinton echoed that message this morning. And I'm going to pursue a strategy on our end that presumes that that's in fact what this is all about. And I think that's as it should be.
Governor, with the conversation.
If not, what's going to be your first words to him?
I have not. I put a call in to Chris Christie to congratulate him because I know him. But
you still have your concern that Donald Trump doesn't have the temperament to be president. That was the one concern you hit on repeatedly when you spoke about him during the campaign. Do you still hold that concern now?
As far as I'm concerned, the election's over. He said all the right things last night. Secretary Clinton said all the right things this morning. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes about the process of developing his team. I think that will be a big statement about a lot of things. And And I look forward to working with him and with his administration on a lot of the stuff that we share common interests in.
Governor,
Thanks,
your
everyone.
views changed then on Donald Trump?
I thought he said all the right things last night, and as I said, people are policy, and I know that as a guy who's had a lot of success in business, he knows that too. And I'm looking forward to seeing who ends up taking some of the key positions in that administration, because that'll tell us a lot.